I'm Karla Redditte. I am here out at Pollard Park in Richmond's north side. Of course, tonight is National Night Out, and we are already having a ball.
No, the store is not closing, but one of its beloved employees is tying up her career in the shoe business.
But we also found a woman. She's 97 years old now, but she actually welcomed Dr. King into her living room back in the 1960s.
Shauna Pringle recently had her breast implants removed because she realized they were physically making her sick. Look at that fuzzy pillow. That's my kind of pillow for a master bedroom. But I want you to follow me into this bathroom. This is what really makes it a dream home for me. Now, a lot of people will be tuning in not just to see Jim's forecast, but they're wanting to see those numbers to see if that money is going to rain on them tonight.
Yes, rain and
make it rain.
Wouldn't that be nice? You know.
So we are both going to learn how to do CPR with Mr. Ray Mallory of the Richmond Ambulance Authority. He's been teaching all of these youngsters how to perform CPR. So Ray, let's get to work.
Right, he only has 3 hooves, so he came in last, Rodney. But you know, but again. It wasn't fair to Rodney.
That's right.
But he did a fantastic job.
NBC12 News at 5 starts now.
The widespread rain causing major flooding in northern Virginia, with some in Fairfax needing to be rescued. It has been another dreary day here in central Virginia with on and off rain throughout the afternoon. The flash flood watch for Richmond now extends through tomorrow night.
And that's why today is another First Alert weather day. And tonight we have team coverage for you. We're tracking flooding in areas north and east of Richmond. But we begin tonight with meteorologist Jim Duncan and a look at things right now. Jim?
Heather Sullivan is in our First Alert Center with the details and the video just coming in. Thanks, Heather. Breaking right now, TMZ is reporting that singer and actress Demi Lovato is in the hospital after what appears to be a heroin overdose. The report says she was treated with Narcan and taken from a home in Los Angeles just before noon today. No word yet on her condition, but just last month she released a song called Sober, where she revealed that she had relapsed. Well, many in the city of Charlottesville are considering today a victory as the Unite the Right rally organizer, Jason Kessler, gives up his battle in court to get a permit for another rally there next month. Kessler withdrew his request for a judge to decide if he could be granted a permit. Jasmine Turner was there as the decision seemed to shock many people, and it came suddenly. Jasmine, what's next for Charlottesville? New at 5, according to court documents, missing 19-year-old Megan Metzger was actually shot and killed, and the gun used to allegedly shoot her was dumped in Washington, D.C. last week. Right now, state police have not confirmed whether the Virginia girl is dead, but court documents from Spotsylvania County shed light on what may have happened. A total of 4 people have been arrested in connection with her disappearance, 3 of them charged with accessory to murder after human remains were found in King George County Saturday. Karina Bolster is live in Westmoreland County tonight, where the 4th suspect was arraigned in court today. And Karina, did anything new come out of that? Thanks, Karina. A crime alert out of Henrico, where police need your help to identify these 2 people. They're accused of stealing cartloads of merchandise from Publix. Police say earlier this month they loaded up carts at the stores in Glen Allen and along John Rolfe Parkway and left without paying. If you happen to recognize either one of these suspects, give Crime Stoppers a call. And a disabled Henrico man calls 12 on your side after part of a tree falls on his van and wheelchair ramp, trapping him inside of his home. You'll hear from him ahead on the news at 5:30.
You hear a lot these days. We could use some more kindness in the world, and certainly we all agree, and that's what this next story is all about.
Anthony Antoine is here with this week's Acts of Kindness and the inspiring woman at the center of it all. Anthony.
Boy, that was emotional.
Yes,
that mother
indeed.
was very passionate.
Indeed. Sometimes teenagers, you need somebody other than your parents to talk to. So
Apparently
thank you
so
so much, Miss Vicky. Well, all the rain over the past few days have caused a lot of problems all over the East Coast, but they've also uncovered some cool discoveries along a creek in Maryland. Take a look at these shark teeth. The state's Department of Natural Resources posted these pictures on Facebook, saying the teeth were found in a creek in Huntingtown, which is in Calvert County. We are just a few hours away from the Mega Millions drawing for more than $500 million. Just this afternoon, the jackpot grew to $522 million, with the cash option of $308 million. Now, it's the second prize that's more than $500 million this year. The other was $533 million back in March. Now, you have until 10:45 tonight to get your tickets. Then, of course, make sure to watch NBC12 News at 11 to find out if you are the big winner. And take a look at this adorable new video as the Smithsonian welcomes 7 new cheetah cubs. They were actually born back on July 9th at the Conservation Biology Institute in Front Royal. But this is our first look at the cubs that are about the size of a football. There are only about 7,000 cheetahs left in the wild. The institute where they live is only open one day a year. And this year, that day is scheduled to be October 6th. They are cute.
Yeah. The Richmond Zoo has a new litter of these cheetah cubs about every 6 or 7 months.
Right. So we can see them too.
Yeah, you can see those too. You don't have to drive all the way to Front Royal.
There you go.
We are moments away from the news at 5:30.
Diane Walker is standing by with a preview. Oh, guys, he barely had enough money to buy his car, and now a Richmond veteran is fighting to get his vehicle back. 12 on Your Side is working to get answers from a tow company and his apartment complex. You can look for that story new at 6. And days of rain leads to flash flooding all over the state. We take a closer look at the damage when the rain will finally move out. Next at 6.
NBC12 News at 6 starts now.
Once again, the big story of the day with more rain impacting the Richmond area. Flash flood watches are also in effect for parts of the state.
Those are two reasons why today is once again a first alert weather day. Meteorologist Jim Duncan is tracking the showers for us. Flooding is also a serious problem in Virginia Beach right now, mainly in the southern part of that city. Some roads are washed out and neighbors say water is even coming inside their homes. It has gotten so bad that the city has opened a shelter for those impacted by the floods. Those who cannot travel will have help sent to them. Well, no time is a good time to be behind the wheel if you're 10 years old, but that's exactly what investigators say a Fluvanna boy did this morning. New at 6, a Navy veteran who says he is being dismissed at every step turned to 12 on Your Side for help getting his car back. Edward Craig says his car was towed without notice, and he believes that violates his lease agreement. But Edward says he can't get anyone in authority at his apartment complex to listen. On Your Side investigator Diane Walker is looking into this complaint. Diane? Thanks, Karina. New details now on that deadly helicopter crash in Williamsburg more than 2 weeks ago. The NTSB released a preliminary report, and it says Henry Schwartz flew from the Stafford Regional Airport to the Williamsburg-Jamestown Airport July 8th. The chopper was then refueled, but minutes after takeoff, Schwartz crashed into the Bristol Commons townhomes. A 91-year-old woman was killed along with Schwartz.
Our Karla Redditte has been in D.C. all day, and Karla, this has been an emotional day for a lot of people.
Yes, it has, Kurt and Sabrina. It's been emotional, but it's also been a very busy day here as well. I want you to take a look behind me. As you just mentioned, we are here at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Site here in Washington, D.C. You can see quite a few people have gathered here in front of the site. Lots of media, just hundreds of people have been filing in and out ever since we've been here. But a lot of these people have come all across the country here to Washington, D.C. because this was one site where Dr. King delivered the I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial back in 1963. So, of course, the spotlight is here on D.C. The spotlight is also shining brightly tonight in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where, of course, Dr. King was assassinated 50 years ago at the Lorraine Motel in downtown Memphis. Now, Memphis is also home to the National Civil Rights Museum, which was built back in 1991. But today, a new exhibit is debuting. It's filled with new images and accounts of Dr. King's life and legacy, even something that was new to Bernice King, who was just 5 years old when her father was assassinated. A somber mood as hundreds stand in awe, viewing the exact spot in Memphis where Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. The National Civil Rights Museum still triggers unresolved grief for Dr. King's youngest child.
For some strange reason, I just broke down in tears.
Reverend Dr. Bernice King visited the National Civil Rights Museum Tuesday, a visit she says is both heartbreaking and humbling. Her last trip was back in October, a trip that brought out emotions she is now dealing with on this 50th anniversary of her father's death.
Really having to face this once again and processing and trying to bring some closure to a lot of the emotion of losing a father.
Her father was killed only a week after her 5th birthday. She has visited this site several times since it was turned into a museum in 1991. However, on this particular visit, she noticed something different about her father while looking at an old newsreel of him as he was supporting the Memphis sanitation workers on strike.
I could sense that he was weary and tired. It looked like he was here but not here. And when I've looked at him at other times, he seemed a little bit more vibrant in his eyes. but it almost seemed like he was at a place of almost like resignation.
Her father continued his fight for justice until the end, a trait that flows through her veins as she continues to spread his message of nonviolence, as well as the message of breaking the cycle of poverty, racism, and violence. She says it all starts with taking a close look at our values and ourselves.
So have to have ecumenical loyalties, and I would dare to say have to have a loyalty to humankind overall.
Now, the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee, is asking all cities all around the country to join in today's remembrance and mark the exact time when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. Now, one of those places joining in today's remembrance is Virginia Union University, and that's where we find our Brent Solomon this evening. Brent? All right, thanks so much for that report, Brent. And of course, Kurt and Sabrina will take you back live to Memphis for a lot of the events that's happening all this evening long. But I'll be back at 5:30 with more from here in Washington, D.C., including a conversation with two people from Virginia. One person was in college when he met with Dr. King, and another person is a 97-year-old woman now who actually met Dr. King inside her living room. So we'll have much more on that fantastic story. Again, that's coming up at 5:30. But for now, I'm reporting live from the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial here in D.C. Kurt and Sabrina, we'll send it back to you. In the heat of the sun.
This was all woods back here then.
Surrounded by the hum and at times hazards of nature.
Oh, there's poison ivy right there.
John Shook walks.
This looks like an area we need to work on.
And walks.
We'll cut in through here.
And walks.
Occasionally see wildlife out here.
He sees a lot.
Turkeys and deer.
Since he's out here at least once a week. But the 70-year-old does not walk the grounds for his health. He walks for its history.
It's part of the community's history.
This is the East End Cemetery, a 16-acre resting place for African Americans founded in 1897.
We have no burial records, so we don't know how many people are buried out here. My estimate is probably somewhere between 15,000 and 17,000 people.
You could say Shuck is a history and genealogy buff.
They're pretty much chronological.
A passion sparked when he was in college.
I found a book my grandfather had purchased that was about his family tree. You know, so I got interested in it.
And his interest turned into investigation.
So this is about the edge of the burials here then.
Where he learned cemeteries play a significant role in revealing more about individual families and communities. So when he and other volunteers of the Friends of the East End...
This is roughly East End Cemetery here.
First laid eyes on this cemetery in 2013.
I'd never seen cemeteries that looked like this. There weren't graves being maintained. It became woods, literally. I mean, you had to bushwhack through it.
And that's exactly what they did.
This area was all cleared to the ground. This is what happens.
And continue to do.
We think we've got half the cemetery cleared of its original overgrowth.
For 5 years now, under Shuck's leadership, thousands of volunteers have come together, armed with gloves, tools, trash bags, and machinery, uncovering and cleaning stones defiled by invasive plants.
See how the ivy goes up these trees? Eventually it kills them and brings them down.
And invasive people.
There were tires and tires and tires have been dumped there.
All to help connect families and communities of the present with their members of the past.
We've uncovered 3,000 readable grave markers so far.
With each newly discovered stone comes insight into a past tradition.
And it's not unusual practice for conch shells to decorate African American cemeteries from what I've read.
Along with a new name to research.
There's two of us especially that go and research on Ancestry.com the lives of these people so we can make connections.
And because of that, they've helped to reintroduce some of history's heavy hitters, like Rosa Dixon Bowser, the first black teacher hired in Richmond, and William Costello.
He was the wealthiest colored businessman in Richmond at that time when he died. This is history, you know, people that were historical in the community. I mean, we may not know how they were important in the community, but it's part of the community's history.
Which is why Shuck works and walks tirelessly to leave no stone unturned.
Look at the heart-shaped stone, and that's for a young child.
Making sure this sacred site of history lies hidden no more.
It takes a community to do this. It takes a team. I mean, I can't do it by myself.